you would be spending $2,591,500,000 on cost for capital, which would be an additional 1.2 mils that you need to be able to stand up with that. Now, we have not been doing that. Can you go to the second page of that?
2631.
That one, that same one, just go down one page. You should have
That brings us
estimated up at the top to be 26. If you look over on that sheet that talks about your ending fund balance and what you're gonna have at the time that you buy a fire truck, and you would have a negative $384,427 if you do that. Now, you can move the fire truck out, you're still gonna end up in negative numbers from that point forward because we haven't collected enough revenue to get there. So that's 20 years of estimate of what you use for the fire department. It takes into account when you gotta replace trucks, when you gotta repair trucks. It takes in when you need air bottles, it takes in when you need gear, it talks about tankers, it talks about grass fire units. It doesn't talk about building repairs or building capital improvements. So there's a lot of capital improvements that goes on for having a fire department. So with that being said, I've added that to this agenda. This is on our township website. Anyone can look at it. Then the next sheet, be down a little bit.
not on.
Is that on there? Is that it? That's it then. I did prepare a proposed ESPH public hearing showing that all we're talking about is the fire department. And it's to be determined what the millage rate would be. It's from 2 to 3. With that being said, I'm gonna turn it over to Fire Chief J.C. Robinson for his presentation.
Okay, you should be able to do it now. We do public hearing. We do.
Didn't do public comments.
Do you do public comments?
No.
No, did I miss public comment?
Yeah.
No, let's take public comment. I think I skipped over C. Public comments? You're gonna have a time to speak on the millage rate in a few seconds, as soon as J.C. presents his presentation. None?
Got one.
That does.
We do have one?
I don't know if this is the right time for it. My name is Joel Limmer. I live on 19477 47th Street. 49026. So I was listening to Karen and reading what I've been reading. It sounds like there's the possibility of a pretty sizable Largas coming into the township if this battery thing goes through. It also sounds to me like this battery thing is going through whether we want it to or not. Am I right?
It's not guaranteed, but.
Not guaranteed.
Not guaranteed.
Okay, so if it comes through, what would happen to all that money? Is one question. And then can we just take a step back from spending more money for fire trucks or other things until we see where that is, and then maybe chair this until that time comes through, and then look at what we have to do? Because you're not gonna give it back to us if you pass a millage or an increased millage. You ain't gonna give it back to us if all of a sudden you have a big surplus, are you? So I think we should just wait until that happens and see where we are. That's all.
Any other public comment?
I have a public comment about the transfer station. Hope it's the right guy we're at.
Oh, what?
The
Transfer station.
transfer station?
Not right time, that's at the regular board meeting. Okay, we are ready for, go ahead, Beth.
Do I have to come up there?
No, you don't have to.
Good, then I won't. The sheriff 52nd Street, I agree with Karen, I agree with this gentleman, I think we're gonna get stuck with Vesper. I think you all know I was really strongly opposed to Vesper, because it affects the area where I live. Also, the area where I live is the other side of the township, so when it comes to fire protection getting over there, because of the physical way the township is, just the way the roads are, they're never gonna get there fast enough. No matter what they do, and that's not on them, that's on me, I'm the one who chose to live my old age in the country, so that's something that I just accept. But I think that waiting to see how the Vesper thing plays out, because I think since they've decided not to go for federal grants, that sounds like they're serious about investing their own money. Because maybe they saw the writing on the wall, that the money for clean energy is going away. That we make the best of that situation. I know that in early negotiations, when they were talking, they were saying, well, what if we give the township a fire truck? And I do know that for years, that we were supposed to be saving money for a fire truck. I know that from being on the board for years. We were supposed to be saving. We were always told, yeah, we got this much, that much, and this is not on JC. He was not the chief now, and I'm not judging the chief then. These guys do a great job, but we're already paying 10 and a half mils. And then you want to add 2, maybe 3, when there could be another option.
Any other public comment?
So there's still public hearing comment later though, right?
It's not public hearing comment until after JC starts,
Okay.
even though we're in it.
Yeah.
Okay. Fire Chief JC Robertson.
Good evening, everyone. I am J.C. Robertson. I've been a resident here since 2001. Nearly immediately, I was contacted by the then Fire Chief Farley Gruber. He saw the lights on my truck in my other place. He goes, "Good, you could be number 5. Number 5 what? The number 5 guy on our department, because there wasn't anybody, there was 5 guys in the fire department in 2001. So let's get started. Now, I love what I've been hearing tonight because I agree with everything that you're all saying because I live here too. You know, I raised a family here and it was a struggle at times, and so I'm with you. We're a couple of things up here. I want to give a shout out first to Kate Schrain for helping. She actually put 95% together this presentation, and I'm just the mouthpiece that goes along with it. So here's the question that you have to answer for yourselves. Why should you listen to me? I mean, the reality of it is, as I look around this, I've seen, like Bob, I've seen you before you helped me out on 2 line down calls, right? And I've seen a couple of you, but you guys don't know who I am. You don't know me from Adam. But I've been in the fire service for over 30 years. I've been for your fire service since 2001, right? So I've been here at this station. Served in multiple capacities, started out as the firefighter, then I was a captain, and then the assistant chief. And then I was promoted, is that the word I would use for this? I was designated chief after that, and that's how that goes, right, John? I mean, that's how things go. I teach full-time at the Van Buren Technology Center. I'm an EMT instructor, been there for over 20, well, coming up on over 20 years. And lots of public speaking events for fire EMS. And this has been my passion. I train emergency medical personnel, fire and EMS to protect the public. That's what we do. And there's other things there. I got a master's degree, so what? It's a piece of paper, so is a bachelor's degree. It means I've endured more than you did. Or maybe you guys have got doctorates, I don't know. But that's why you should be listening to what I'm saying today. Because I'm not making stuff up and it's not emotion. It's just the facts. So let's talk about what we got here. We got understanding what we're protecting here. We got the agricultural is our biggest lots, if you will, biggest acreage. And the second biggest thing we've got is the single family dwellings, and then you'll see the breakdown, on the rest of that, but what you have to understand is, there's a lot of things that are zoned agricultural that have houses on them and people are living there. So while that might look like, well, ag is the problem, we had to deal with that and to make them pay for it, super fine and dandy. The reality of it is, there's a lot more, people out there. Some of the things we, may or may not understand. We have a train system, a rail system that comes through here. Anybody know what's on trains? That's awful bad stuff. We're just gonna put that, we got Amtrak twice a day too. Interestingly enough, we've had an Amtrak incident and two regular train, freight train vehicle collisions in the time that I've been. So it is not an if, it's a when is it gonna happen again? We've got the blueberry packing places. Those are some huge hazardous materials areas that a lot of people don't understand. They suck they suck atmosphere out of those areas. And they're a hazard to catch fire. If someone's trapped in there, we've got to have specialized equipment available to us to be able to help them. I can't tell you how many times just this year we've been on lines down, Bob, twice at your place for the same thinking tree. So line down, just as a side note on that, if you see a line down, if it's creating a fire, we're gonna watch it burn. Cause there's a lot of bolts going through there, a lot will kill us dead if we put water on that, so we're just gonna watch it. We do have adult foster care homes, I don't know if you guys know that or not, we've got medical facilities, 3 of them in our area. Which equate to volume of calls and so forth. And then, of course, you see there's the largest employees, that'll be the employers, that'll be our blueberry farms and so. Now, Kate put these together, because I don't, man, that's a lot of numbers. That's a lot of stuff up there. But the key points that you gotta take away from this is, since we became, well, 1960s where it started with 13,000 people, now we're at 2,500 people. Okay, slight decrease from the last time, last year, but the point is, we've got a lot more people now than we did back then. My wife is actually on a trip right now, and she's with a trip with 2,600 other people. I'm like, well, you got more people on your trip than we have in the township, so, you know, count yourself. She goes, I knew you were gonna say that. The breakdown in there, I do wanna point out, of the demographics, that we have 16% Hispanic. And as I look around at us, I don't see that demographic represented here. And that's a lot of what we go on with medicals, and, we're having a hard time communicating with them. The last one that I was on, I had to use Google Translate. 100%. There's nobody in the area, 15 people, no one knew English. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your own personal opinions. We as rescue have to deal with that. And so we need some training. How do we do that? Now, this is something that actually surprised me when Kate and I were talking about this. This young man here in the front row, you're part of that demographic. You're 54.6% of the young people with young families. I didn't realize that. But if you also look, we are trending overall older. Now.
Think for yourself.
I looked in the mirror and I went, hey, Dad, where'd you come from? Get out the mirror, I got things to do. But if we look around and are honest with ourselves, we're not as young as we once were. I mean, as I look around right now, you all look great. That's what I'm gonna say right there. But think about that. As we age, we have multi-system failures to our bodies, and we need somebody there to help us out. And I agree with you. I'm living in the middle of nowhere. I chose to live there, but that doesn't mean we can't do a good job anyway. And speaking of that, I'm on the Med Control Authority Board for Van Buren County. And it's the board that controls anything that happens medically, whether it's at the hospitals or emergency medicine in this county. And this morning, we got a collective pat on the back for emergency services because we're the best in the state at CPR. We bring them back because we call 911 immediately, you start CPR. Joe gets there with the first responders, gives them the electricity we need, and everybody else shows up to transport. There was 2 incidents back to back within 4 minutes of each other in Decatur 2 weeks ago, full arrest. Both full arrests were shocked by first responders after on-scene CPR. Both people are home today. That's because we are taking emergency medical services seriously. And Kate has my permission, by the way, to chime in and say you forgot something. I don't think I am. And I do understand we're on time constraints, so I probably won't remember as much as I was going to. Yeah, super. Seasonal units, we were talking about the seasonal units around the lakes more. Okay, I don't know that person. I live in an ag district. I've got blueberries on one side, blueberries on another side, my son on the other side, and more blueberries. So that's what I've got. Some interesting things here. If we look at our poverty rate, because I hear you all very clearly, and I've heard the board say it more than once, we don't want to raise rates on anybody because we all don't have any money. Well, that proves it. Columbia Township, 21% of our population lives at or below the poverty line. That's insane. But that is also, frankly, friends, the people that need emergency services more. And I can't remember who touched on it, but there is a waiver. I think it was Karen. There is a waiver that if you're the poverty line, you can put that waiver in and not pay taxes. I mean, huh?
There's 3 people that are 3.
There are 3 people, it's spectacular, but at 21% of our area, that's almost 1 in, well, that is 1 in 5 of us.
I think the poverty reduction reduces their taxes. I don't think it takes them away.
No idea, I just know that is an option where they can get that help. That is a lot of small words, Kate, look bigger on my other stuff. Basically, what we're talking about here is we have more disabled people in our area. I mean, think about your own self and your own family. Is there anybody is your entire family 100% medical free? No one's got any medical problems whatsoever? Raise your, I mean, if you're comfortable, raise your hand. See, no one, right? And that's the point. That's the point. Someone asked me, well, why did we hire a guy? That's the reason, right? Because my brother and I, my brother is the assistant chief. We work all day long and we're out of the area. We can't be here. We're doing this. Yes, we're getting a paycheck, but it really is, you know, out of the goodness of our heart, because no other fire chief or the staff would do this for what we're making. It is a token to take care of our trucks and so on. So basically, long story short, we've got high poverty, low income. And what I heard Ken talking about was an increase. I wanted to talk to you guys quickly about that. Someone says, well, it's not our problem. You're absolutely right, it's not. But I want you to know that I took over as chief almost 2 years ago now. And I have not gone over budget once. I have stayed with the 2% that I inherited. And also with that, just keeping it the same, we were able to get a full-time guy here to help protect our people. That's what it's about, is protecting people. It's not about any kind of ego. It's about who needs the help and how fast can we get it. Those CPRs that are coming back will not come back, or have a less likelihood, if we're waiting 4 to 6 minutes for the first vehicle to even start rolling towards us. Our full timer during the day cuts that down. You see we got some of our staff members here. These are the people that come and back us up. They say, I'm gonna stay around at nighttime. I'm not gonna go to the movies in South Haven. I'm not gonna go to dinner in Kalamazoo. I'm gonna stay here in case the pager goes off and somebody needs it. Oh, what else we got in here? There's structured fires, and I can show you reports all day long, and if you come to the meetings, hey, since I've been tracking it just in the last 2 years, there have been increases in both fire and EMS calls. Last year, this same time. Let's see, well, right now, we didn't add those in, we had 2 more fires, another medical, so we've got 100, huh? All right, so totally about 227 calls. When I wrote this just last week, it was 100 fires and 123 medicals. And this time last year, there was 70 fires.
For 2025, we're talking about. This year so
So
far.
this far in 2025, oh yeah, yeah. So for this year in 2025, we've had 100 fires. Last year, this exact same time, this very same day, we only had 70. So it's 30 more manpower hours, not counting how many people show up and how long it takes to mitigate. And in 1 more year back, 78 fires. So we're seeing it increase there. Okay. While that's all going on, enter JC into the mix. Now, while I've been on the department, I haven't been in the decision making of where we're gonna pay bills, how we're gonna do it. But I've counseled the previous chiefs to save money. And we've been trying to save money for new trucks for this and that. And it's not always an easy thing to do. Now, some things we gotta think about here for hazards. Structure fires, if we have a structure fire, and it's a good chance we will. I don't think there's been a week that we have had our own or gone on somebody else's. And by the way, Joe. It was yesterday. Joe yesterday was able to mutually respond to Bangor. And because of low manpower for the department that we went to back him up Bangor. He was one of 2 people that made entrance into the basement and was able to save the structure. By the way, I saw those pictures, nice job. But if it happens and you don't have insurance, like on baseline. Right? Do you want just an ash pile? I mean, that's up to you. Hazardous materials, it's pretty much a low frequency, but if it happens, it's not gonna be a fun day. Palisades is doing its restart up and they're doing all kinds of drills. We're in the zone, folks. It's not the auto zone. Medical emergencies, I submit to you that if you have a medical emergency, it's important to you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have called. Well, they should have called the ambulance for that. Well, that's your opinion. Right? You call, we come. Transportation accidents. Pretty frequent. In fact, I was on my way to church Sunday morning. And I drove, I'm like, that looks like a wrecked vehicle. That looks like somebody unconscious and responsive in the front seat. I was not even in our area. I'm like, okay, we gotta take care of that. Actually, I was on 665, just north of 24th Ave. Bloomingdale's territory. 4 guys came to back me up in their own area. Landed the helicopter, hold on. That was the one, yep. Oh, yeah, and then we had the 3 people rolling over at midnight. Yep. The key point for all of this is with a decrease in volunteerism. I hear a lot of people throw around, well, let's be volunteer, super. I'll sign you all up tonight. And that's no joke, I will take everybody. But don't for a second think someone's gonna volunteer if you aren't volunteering. I'm pointing it out there point blank, that time frame, and I'm talking to you guys knowing that that was what I grew up in. I grew up in a volunteer department. My first department was total volunteer. We had 30 guys. We were down there every Saturday hanging out together. That's not the world we live in today. So you can complain about it. You can tell me I'm wrong, but 30+ years, if you haven't lived it, you don't know it. Training, we're pretty good on training, but if we don't get the training, that could impact how we do things. Case in point would be electric vehicles. If we cut the wrong wire, then we can have a crispy critter going on and a funeral to go to and a dear chief letter to write. If the equipment fails, and that's really what I'm talking about in all of the things. When equipment fails, it's not because we didn't know that things were bad, it's just we were cutting costs and we weren't replacing the stuff that needed to be replaced. A big fact, for instance, is I haven't bought hoses for the station, fire hoses, for a couple of years to save money. We haven't done something, we haven't done painting. We haven't done normal operations that you guys would do to your own homes. We haven't done that to save money. But now, as we all know, there comes a point of no return where we need to start catching up on some of it. Staffing shortages. Because my brother and I are full-time teachers, I teach EMS, he teaches the fire academy. We have a lot of our students that will come to us and work for us for learning opportunities and for a starting position. Paulette was mine, John was mine, Joe was mine, Stephen was mine. Joe was actually my brother as well. That's how we have staffing right now. There's a lot of new kids coming out, I call them kids because they're under 20. We'll be fine 25. But the key point here is we have high risk and impact on every one of our people. And we have an engine that is failing us. Our frontline engine is not something to be writing home about. And I wanted to make a correction, Mary. You asked me when was it totaled out? It was not totaled out, it was damaged and repaired. And that was August of 2012. It was totaled out by someone who's no longer working for us on the way to a call. They hurt the truck. So we take that seriously. We take safety seriously and our $100,000 vehicle seriously. But this vehicle here that we're talking about or that I'm thinking about is needs to go away. I don't want. How many of you have vehicles that have electrical issues? You keep those, do you? You do,
Yeah.
and you pray every time, dear Lord, let the gremlins not be in here today.
I said, if anybody in this room is harboring that is.
That's totally that, huh? So let me give you just a little taste of, so 2770 is a really pretty vehicle to look at. You look at it, you're like, man, we're spending all kinds of money on that. That's a beautiful truck. We bought it in 2011. It has never been run. It's gone back to the manufacturer, it's had multiple repairs. After it was damaged to the point of non-use, it was repaired again. It was this last year, it failed to engage on a mower fire. It was in the field. They were able to contain it with a secondary unit. We've been taking our old 1995. How many people have a 1995 they drive around as a normal day? Okay, a couple of you. God bless you. Those are cool, right? But for a fire engine, not so cool. But I tell you what, I don't want to get rid of my 95 engine. She has saved my life a couple of times. Cage of life, baby. Cage of life. But that vehicle, it failed. We immediately had it repaired. Immediately. Back roads came out. That's the name of the industry, the repair guys. They came out immediately, fixed it. The very next training, not a week later, it failed again. So during training, when we were practicing, it failed again. We couldn't get it to come on. I put it out of service for an entire week. We had it repaired immediately, and we load tested that sucker for a week. So, and what we said from that point on is that doesn't go unless 22 goes, so our backup engine. We need to make sure we have protection. Because it failed on us again on structure fire on basement. Fortunately, we had other engines and things there to back us up. So it's a safety hazard. And if it's your house burning, you don't care why it's not getting water. I used to, before it was injured, it had to go be repaired. When it was, I thought I was told that it wasn't, it was 30, it was told. I would engage the pump. So how you engage the pump on this thing is, you're driving it, you have road lines. There's a lever over here that's green, it says road. You move that to neutral, it disengages that light, you push it down, and now the light is PTO to drive the pump. Okay, so that you have your neutral, then PTO drive. If that light doesn't come on, you're not gonna get it. We used to have to do that. I would have to get out, go around to the passenger side, open the door, and bang on. I had to Fonzie it. Anybody know who Fonzie is? Okay, see, I know who I'm talking to. I had to beat on that thing till a light came on. Then I could get up on the pump panel. Aces, man, that looks just spectacular. Oh, nothing to see here. Don't look at us. Those malfunctions keep coming up. I have no trust in this vehicle whatsoever. we will always take another truck with us when we go. So that's the one, and by the way, it expires. NFPA, what's the number there? Spot one. My brother and Joe are the spots. He can tell me rules and regulations for days. So 1901 states, your engine shall be no older than 15 years without a refurb, then it goes to the back line. Now, that's a guideline. It's not a requirement. So it's a guideline, not a requirement. You can go older, but you do have a 30-year-old vehicle doing your work. Some dates on this, some times, if you look up there, the 1995, it only has 43,000 miles on it. What's the big problem? Yeah, it doesn't go on road trips. It stays in our borders for the most part. But if it fails, somebody's life could be on the line, or your structure or your loved one, because also on this truck, we have our extrication tools. I'll wrap up in 5, boss. We've got that 2011 that I was just talking about, 2770. And I've already told you about all the problems with that one. Electrical issues up the yin-yang. In fact, on the last deep dive into what was going on, they found a manufacturing error where they had taken a 3-inch screw and drove right through an electronics vent. Well, they fixed that, but it's causing other relay issues. Whatever. We've got the new 2020 pickup. That's the one that's outside. If you want to take a look before you leave tonight, that's our medical response and general purpose vehicle. We have a 1988 pickup that's on loan to us from the DNR. When that dies, there won't be a replacement from the DNR. They don't do that anymore. We have one of the last ones in the state. It's a pretty cool truck. It's a tank, but it doesn't do 45 with the wind at its back. That's okay though. 2730, 16 years old. They did have a rebuild, the Duwell fire in Bangor. The ash totaled out the entire, everything on it. And so that was insurance claimed and replaced. And so that's what our equipment are. We do have, our SCBA's are brand new. We got those last year. And our turnout gear is okay. We've got budgetary items, to be able to repair and replace that. Communications the same way. Thermal imager, there's good, better, best on how to mitigate all of this. And the board, you guys got this presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions on this. But all this to say is we are working our butts off. We're not just sitting down there sipping coffee and hoping for the best. Right? We do have 2 stations. And the one was built in my lifetime here. When was that built? 2001. So as I started, that station was being built. But the other one was a Ken era, 1980. And that one's held to the ground with cables. That's just the construction method of the time. Both buildings are in need of love and paint and everything else. And I've been using the budget I have. Deciding what I'm gonna fix. I decided that I'd like to have lights so that I can see things. So we fixed the lights. We decided we wanted to heat this year. So we put a new furnace in because the other one failed. We decided we'd like to be able to flush the toilets this year. No joke. They weren't we'd have to have it pumped every other week, it felt like. And so we fixed that. Right? We're not just willingly throwing money away and hoping for more. And quite frankly, and I know this is probably not what Kate or Ken want to hear. I don't want any more right now. I want you to know what's going on with your department. I'm not asking you for anything more. I'm already doing it with what I've been given. I want you to know what's coming because I won't be able to fix things much longer. We've got 13 of the 16 of us that are trained for medical, 13 trained for fire. And those are not exclusive of each, like Paulette's medical only. Stephen is now both, he was fire only. 4 officers to run the 16 of us that we've got more coming on, the cadets and so forth. But as members become younger, I'm putting to these 3 because John is actually an old man comparable. as they get younger and don't have places to live, you have the option. Do I want a fire department or not? Do I want to have that medical first response or not? Totally within your realm of saying yes or no to. I talked to the fire chief from South Haven again today, while they're adding more manpower. I said, well, how about you add one more township? He goes, not on your life. I can't absorb one more entity. And some of it he gets by default. But as they become, and then there's no place to live. Why? Because we're pricing the younglings out of having a place, right? We're taxing the crap out of the young families. Our response times have gone down with Joe. I say Joe, it's the full-time position. And before the full-time position, we did have a smattering of our youth that were running the part-time, and it was working sort of. But we were dropping calls left and right. And that only happened so long, and then the state just says, never mind, you're not serious about running men. I'm either doing it or I'm not. Right? We're gonna do it right or we're not gonna do it at all. Water supply, we do have a plethora of lakes here, right? We've got 14. I think we're in pretty good shape. Water is not the problem, and the tanker that we have, I wanna keep that forever. That is, I call it my super sucker, man, I love it. That thing, looks like a septic tank truck, but we outship water at every fire scene because we can pull it in faster than anybody else. We can push it out faster than anybody else. They laugh at us until we laugh at them. Oh, what's that truck? We gotta do some pre-planning as things get bigger and better. You get this power plant coming in, that's gonna be a whole new ballgame. Yeah, we might get some more money, but it's also gonna mean we're gonna have more specific training. And mutual aids. We go up to Lee Township a lot. They've got a beautiful station, beautiful equipment, nobody to run. Bloomingdale, who we've been compared to a lot. 4 guys showed up for a critical injured patient. I ran the scene for somebody else. Not that they couldn't do it, but there wasn't enough manpower to do it. Many of the functions that we were once considered nice to haves and now need to have through the state. We have to report a different way. It used to be volunteer firefighters. I'm a volunteer firefighter. Good. Train if you want. Now it's mandatory. If you don't train, you lose your certification, you can't do it. Okay. Well, how am I gonna pay for it? Here's some recommendations that are coming up. These are the things that are over and above my budget. A new engine is on the horizon. We have to have a new engine. Do we have to have it today? No. No, we don't. And by law, we actually don't have to have it at all. We have to have it referred. That is law. That's not guideline. You have to have it referred, but you don't have to have a new one. Super. Last refurb that I know was 50 grand, but that was for the 1995. So anyway, new engine, just as a side note there, we could have had an engine for 200,000, but we didn't move fast enough. And by we, I mean this body here. It was almost exactly what we wanted, 200,000. And well, now inflation and that unit's gone. $6,000 to replace remaining equipment that gets expired. And I'm talking about the stuff that we wear. The coats, the boots, hoods, the helmets, the gloves. That has an expiration date. We've been slowly getting some every year, but there are still some that are outdated. When I say sandpipes are the little plastic things that go into the water. PVC, it's about $500 a shot. Put together, am I running that this stuff today? And we'd like to have one in every water source. Make it easier. I skipped over hoses. If we replace all of the hoses just that we need to bring our stock back up to where it should be, it's almost $4,000. So there you see all of the things that are going on with the fire department EMS. Again, I'm not asking you for anything more. Nothing right now. Nothing. I'm good the way I am. I'm 2 years on the budget that I have, but I'm here to tell you. If we don't start planning for tomorrow, we're gonna get buttered. And I don't want anybody to say, no one told me. I all heard. Right? I've got cards. If anybody wants my card, I'd be happy to chat with you. Anybody got any questions for me on this? Go ahead.
No, my name is Lauren Porter, we're relatively new to the area, but one question I have is, there have been any work done for grant applications?
Absolutely. So Kate has gathered all the information and we are working hard to try to find grants left and right. Last, Kelly, I knew we were working on a couple of different, four, that my knowledge, 2 we missed because we didn't have all the pieces of information we needed. So now after this, Kate, I think you've got most, if not all the information you need, and if not, we'll get it to her. And she's our grant specialist. Thank you, numbers lady, because I hate numbers. I can compare numbers and I can tell you which is good and bad, but I don't like figuring out where those numbers come from. So answer is 100% yes.
May I answer that?
Go ahead.
So the 2 grants that were currently available that the grant period closed July 3rd, we weren't in a position to apply because we didn't have this background analysis to do it. And if you're applying for a federal grant, you can't just say, I want it. You have to really prove it. So now we're in a position to write grants, but, one comment that I'm hearing a lot when we talk about grants is, well, okay, what if we get the grant? For example, there's a grant that I'm sure we will qualify for next year to bring on more staff. The grant would cover 3 years, but then the fire department has to have a budget to absorb the costs when the grant period is over. And I've heard people complain about that. Well, if you get a grant, then when the grant period is over, you gotta be ready to pay the extra cost for whatever the grant is for. That is true. That is true.
We're done.
But allow me to say one more thing on the grant, for example, for the staff. That's to bring you up to NFPA compliance.
Right.
So we are way out of compliance. I don't think you've really been able to say that in terms of the number of
Yeah.
staff you're supposed to have. So the grants, in that sense, just something to keep in mind, we are out of compliance, which would allow us to qualify for the grant, but then the complaint is, well, what if we get the grant, how are we gonna pay for it? I mean, something's gotta give them.
And that's the staff, and I'm not really familiar with fire department friends.
Sure.
There's a grant coming up, we think, in the next couple of months, it's possible. We're waiting to see if FEMA releases an application for fire trucks. I'm waiting.
But go back to the staff, the structure fire we had on baseline. I rolled on and I immediately called what we call a second alarm, which is, I don't want just the people that are coming to help me. So on any structure fire, we go to Bangor, we go to South Haven, they come to us. The 3 of us go for everything. Lee Township, we go on everything for each other, right? So we have 3 departments that we can rely on. So I call that a second alarm, which gave me another 4 departments. All of those departments together on that structure fire, and the old timers, like us standing here, were like, dude, we got 7, 8 departments here. This, counting the people, that's how much used to respond for 1 department. That's because volunteerism, somebody else can volunteer. I don't have time for it. You don't understand what I've got going on. I sure do. I get it. But you can't say volunteerism is the way to fix it if no one's gonna volunteer. So. Yeah,
What is unincorporated department? What does that mean? Does it have to do with staffing?
unincorporated department.
Yeah, I see that on your reports sometimes at the heading. I think maybe they're the ones coming up top.
Then I have no idea what my boss said to you.
Okay.
That's dispatch. That'd be a great question for them.
Yeah, that's comes from the county.
Yes.
It's nothing to do with.
Yeah, I was gonna say, my reports have nothing about corporate or incorporated.
Okay.
Can you explain, what I'm getting is, well, I see I'm paying for an ambulance mill on my taxes,
Sure,
okay?
that's live EMS.
So we're paying for life EMS, but it's such a bad response time.
Mhm.
Is why we have now a full-time person helping.
The only,
What can our citizens do? Can they call the county and say, why are we not getting our service?
you are getting your service. They will send an ambulance. It might be a half an hour. And it might be after you're dead. They are coming. They are required by law. If the tones drop, they are coming.
Okay.
Now, they might be coming from Allegan. Which is most of the time. They might be coming out of Kalamazoo, but they are coming. Now, here's the deal. That is to offset the private ambulance system. The only way the private ambulances like Life and Van Buren EMS can survive is by billing. Well, they can't bill Medicaid and Medicare for many of the calls that we go on that we're required by law to answer on. Because people don't have the money to pay for their own insurance or that, right? Our job is to get there and make sure that the life safety is going on before the transport unit gets there. That's our job. So yes, you are paying one bill to the county for ambulance service. We do have an ambulance service, and as a clarification point, I was the spearhead to that to get rid of Pride Care. I used to work for the predecessor to Pride Care, but they were horrible to you guys. They were, you would call because your kid's not feeling good. Why am I coming to your house? Literally saying that, I'm like, dude, you gotta get out of here. I'll take care of my people. I mean, they were negative Nellies. They don't exist. Pride does not exist anymore. Life is a big conglomeracy, but they're based out of Grand Rapids. They have substations. Our ambulance, if it's there, is coming out of Gulf. So did that answer your question?
I think so. I think.
I mean, so I guess to go back to it, the reason that we're paying for MFR, the reason that I decided rather than pay for sock that 50,000 a year and everything, the reason I do that to a full-time position rather than to buy myself a new fire truck is there's more medical calls and I care about you as a person. Stuff can be replaced, but I still care about your stuff, just not as much.
I see maybe EMS go by my house all the
Sure.
time, and in fact, like yesterday.
Van Buren EMS is based out of Paw Paw. They are a Bronson affiliate and they do not have our coverage area.
Or could they?
It wouldn't matter. The ones that you're seeing are the transfer cars from the hospital to the hospital. Those ones don't answer up e-calls.
Those are secondary units that only respond to a hospital transfer.
They do not.
So you're saying that Burlington Township with my neighbor, that they didn't get someone up in Burlington and said to come and sort of.
Oh, absolutely not. No, because I've got a lot of my students on a lot of these departments. There was the one full arrest in that trailer, that 24-foot trailer, the travel trailer, where I had two ambulances show up because the one ambulance knew that they were closer. So they back each other up the best they can. This last month, the month of, we're in July, right? So June, there was 5 days in the month of June where there was not one ambulance available in this entire county. Doesn't matter. Tell me a name, they were not available. How do I know? Med Control Authority said, hey, by the way, last month there was 5 times EMRs, what can we do for that? I'm like, well, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. I can't do any more than I am. So you call because you're having chest pain, difficulty breathing. Left arm pain, jaw pain. You're having the big one. Do you want to wait 25 minutes? That's up to you. For me and mine, we're gonna go on the ambulance. And if I can't do that, I'll just get my brother. I'll throw whoever's having the problem in the back of my pickup truck, my brother will take him and we'll go. I mean, 30+ years, folks. I'm not blowing smoke just to blow smoke. I am a very conservative guy. I don't like spending money if I don't have to. So when I say there's something wrong, there's something wrong, but you don't know that yet.
It'll say that there is someone here in this township.
Monday through Friday from 8 to 4. This man right here.
So if you're gonna need medical service, have it Monday through Friday.
It is. Hold on, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. Why those hours? Because that's when my brother and I are at work. Then on the weekends and nights, we got Steven, we got Paulette, we got John, we got me, my brother, his wife.
So the township is covered.
We are covered. It's just during the day when everybody's at work, because there's no place for here.
And that would be the same, even if you had volunteers, that's an issue. A lot of the younger
Yeah.
people have to work. And us older people, you don't want us out there trying to love fire. It's not gonna happen.
I need some,
Like you said.
I do need a volunteer though to take pictures. I need pictures. But yeah, I don't want you to take pictures of someone's dying because there's nobody else. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's a systemic problem. And I'm trying to fix it. I'm happy to have any input. Go ahead.
Do you have any ideas what Columbia Township Fire Department can do in response time? Because I know that's a criticism on live EMS. And again, on my end of the township, I want to know, do you have any thoughts or ideas on how that could get better?
Absolutely. but-
Because of the way the township is.
Oh, absolutely.
You got barriers there.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no straight line.
Yeah, there are a couple of options, but they all cost money. And if we're looking at cutting back, then add money, doesn't make sense. I mean, the simplest solution would be have our own ambulance. Bangor did have an ambulance service for their own, and we could do a conglomerate, that would be one option.
But that's the same as having our medical first
Yeah.
responder. I mean, that's
No,
not gonna
because-
get to be any faster.
Oh, there's no way to get any faster. You can't have any faster than Joe being in the apparatus bay when the call goes out. Right? Stephen is, new on the medical, but he's been with us for 5, 6, 10 years, I don't know how long years now. But he's so happy to be medical now, he stayed at the station the other night. And I'm normally the first one there, I'm 1.7 miles from the station. Not that I clocked it at all. 1.7 miles from the station. I'm always the first one there, beating my brother who lives closer. Just, I wanna put that out there. I'm faster than my brother and I'm older. So when you see him, well, anyway. But Stephen was already out the bay, gone up on the call. The only way you can do that is by having somebody there. We actually encourage people to stay at the station. I don't pay them. But they can watch TV, they can, cook on the grill or whatever else. And we've been having people do that. Play your video games, crying out loud. You're at the station, tones drop, you stand up, you go out there. I'm still finding my shoes back at home. And I still gotta drive that 1.7 miles. Yes, ma'am.
The ambulance service district in 2018 was Columbia Ernest Bangor. So that's how it was, and then it changed to, Light EMS, Columbia Rescue, and then it changed again to Pine Grove, or Columbia Mobile, and Columbia Township. But basically, in 2018, we had better service, ambulance at Scott Lake, just down the street.
They were, yeah. But as, I want you to know, when Pride went out of business, it was sudden. No one knew it was gonna happen. It left a great big vacuum out there and they had to fix it.
Why can't we go back to this group?
Why can't we go back to that?
District C, where we're with Arlington, Bangor, and Columbia.
That's a John Pinkster question. I understand. Sorry. That's a life EMS. I'm only telling you, Columbia Township, that's what I'm in charge of, that's what I'm responsible for, and that's what I lose sleep over, folks. I don't know any of you. I lose more sleep about you now that I know you got 3 littles. You should say 4 littles. 4 littles. God bless you. No wonder you're going gray already. But, awesome, right?
Future volunteers.
Well, bring it, right? Bring it to the station, look around. We got junior firefighter stickers. Yes, sir.
Question, you have a list of $500,000 for a new truck. Is that a brand new truck or is that a used truck?
Brandon. We've already spec'd out the truck. It's a Ford 550 pickup chassis. It has the proper pump. It's small enough to be more versatile. There's been mentality in the past of, look at me and my big fire truck, look how cool I am. The reality is, we have firemen. Right? And we need 4-wheel drive to get in some places sometimes. And so this vehicle will serve us better. And it's cheaper than buying a replacement engine. The same engine that we have currently will go almost $1 million, about 850 for a stripped down version.
You still need the people.
We still need the people. It's one or the other, right? It can't be one or the other. If you have beautiful equipment and nobody to run it, you're wasting money. You pay the people, have no equipment, well, you don't have anybody to go to the calls. You still have nothing, right? So it's gotta be that fine balance. Go ahead, sir.
Rick Perez, and I live on 0986 or 09867 Berta. Part-time resident.
Sure.
grew up in the area. Finally back here for quite a few years, but, you factor in, and I'm thinking, when you showed the population, are you factoring in at any time the population you might have through the summer?
We didn't figure in the.
I mean, that's, you're missing, that's a big thing,
It does go
especially
up.
when you're looking at grants and when you're looking at things. Especially if you, at one time, I know a few years ago, there was an estimate that floated around what population the township is on July fourth.
Well, speaking to that one right there, right, South Haven's been working on trying to
Yeah.
get more full-time people. For the 4th of July, this is a conservative estimate, 70,000 people.
Yeah.
How are 25 people, 30 people supposed to take care of it? It's an all hands day, right? Joe was even down there for part of it for the parade. I mean, so, right? It's insane, right? So you're absolutely right.
Well, the back of the, notebook, calculation somebody had done, they figured, that added probably people. Just thinking of the lake population, that you're not even factoring into things. Yeah.
May I say something? To that point, the townships at the planning commission level is currently looking at short-term rentals and because they
Right.
can be assessed for fire and emergency. So we're looking at that right now. It'll be a few months. That may not solve all the problems, but that is something that we and the board can ultimately decide what it's gonna do. We're looking at it.
But we're just figuring the stress load that we're all putting on, adding in that, for the 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months that people are around. And, the increase in population, you're not showing it anywhere in the stats from. Yeah.
Well, and retired communities, the ones that are here probably.
Yeah.
And again, more. I know they didn't want to get on with regular stuff. Anything else that I can answer for you? These are my cards. I'm gonna lay them right here, so you don't have to look at me in case you don't want to talk to me, because I am scared to look at. My wife says so. But you can send me an email, you can send me a text. I know, what's that text thing? I don't know, you got fast face to snap and that instant voice stuff. So there's that. Anything else? I do teach budgets for the kids at high school. Yeah, I do. I gotta give you control.
Question.
Yes.
Does, our sheriff have an AED, do the deputy sheriffs have AEDs and all their?
They absolutely do, and he comes to me for his supplies. Absolutely.
And do they also respond when they hear a medical call?
Absolutely, and the reason that Decatur, right? So, what goes on is. It's a party one in the area, and normally if a law enforcement's available, they go. And, so the Decatur truck, the Joe counterpart was on scene taking care of one. And the sheriff was there in the other one, and that's the reason the other one survived. I mean, it's not either or, it's the entire group working together. Thanks again, Kate, for putting that together. Okay,
Thanks, JC.
you bet.
Okay, at this time, we're gonna recognize individuals speaking in support of the proposed emergency service millage rates for 2025 tax assessment. Right now, we have it set at 2. If you think we ought to increase that, then let us know what you think we ought to be doing. Anyone want to make a comment? None? Any individual speaking in opposition of proposed emergency millage rates for 2025, right now it's set at 2. Are you totally against any increase? You can speak now. If you want your petitions to include fire, I guess we'll need to see the hands of who would like to do that, and we'll just take a record of your hands if that's the case. So how many people out there want no increase to the above the 2 mils for fire protection? Well, right now it's set at 2 mils.
He's just doing a straw poll.
Huh?
Yeah, what, yeah, that's good.
Confusing way.
Okay, I guess I'm confusing you. There are people that have filled out a petition that we have received by the township board, no increase in property taxes. I'm wondering how many in attendance today want no increase in taxes, including the fire protection.
Is that just for those that signed those petitions?
You don't have to sign the petition, I'm just saying, how many people here are opposed to any increase in the fire?
In tax,
Oppose it, yeah,
in tax.
we need to get a head count.
Opposed to the 2 million.
You're opposed to increasing more than two.
I think, there,
That's the thing.
it's been two, right?
It is two right now.
Okay, you say that, some people might want, some people raise their hands, they don't want it to be two, and some people raise their hands, they don't want it to be one.
Okay,
Here, you want me to read the petition total? I can
And it's not a tap.
Fine.
That's not right.
Okay. The petition that was submitted, states that the undersigned taxpayers of Columbia Township oppose any property tax increase without voter approval. That they expect the public officials to manage revenues without deficit spending in order to avoid the need for increased taxation. They expect the public officials to exhaust all grant opportunities prior to initiating any ballot question that would increase local property taxes. And that they expect honest budgetary information without bias or exaggeration.
so the question is, who agrees with that statement? Hold your hands up.
I agree.
We need to get,
For 24?
I got 35.
Okay.
Out of those that did not raise their hands, do you have a value of increase that you would be agreeable to? If anyone would be agreeable to a higher value, raise your hand. We have 2, 3. 3 would agree to a higher value. Okay,
So I'm not agreeing to any higher values or anything, but I love my fire department and I love working for them. And I'll say that, I don't do it for the money. I have to work another job to sustain myself, and I do also live in Great Junction. I live over that side of about 51st. I have, so, I completely understand that nobody wants their taxes raised. I don't want my taxes raised either, because I'm a young person trying to, build a future for myself. But I don't want to see my fire department go away. I would like for us to be able to maintain our professionalism as we do and taking care of our residents. So if we could find a way to do that, that would be great.
name, address. Name and address.
Call it 08969 Lake Ave.
Go ahead.
Question, Sue Crawl, 03278, 53rd Street. I thought, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought before any tax could be raised, it would have to go to a public vote. It has to.
Laura, can you explain that?
Clear some of this up.
Yeah.
And Laura,
Yeah.
this is our attorney, she'll clear it up.
Yeah. So with the fire, it's actually not a tax, it's a special assessment under a statute called PA 33. That's why it wasn't listed in those other millage rates you saw up. It's calculated like a tax because it's based on the taxable value. But that's why it doesn't go to a vote. That's why it's not covered under that separate sheet. So I said, functionally, it feels like a tax because it's on your property tax bill, but it's not actually a tax. And it is important, that we do get everybody's names because it's a special assessment. It's subject to a tax tribunal challenge if you wanted to do that. So make sure that we are getting your names for the minutes for that. I just wanted to clarify that it's not a tax. My understanding, and P 33 requires the township to determine the cost annually. So that's why I think coincidentally, it's the same meeting as the truth and taxation, but it's a completely separate process. My understanding is the current, like the last year, assessment was 2 mills, correct?
In all previous years,
In
go
all
back.
previous years, 2 mills. So when Ken was saying an increase, that'd be, above where we've been. If you went below 2 mills, we'd be cutting the funding from where they're at now. So the 2 mills is not new. The 2 mills is a continuation of that same assessment amount.
But
I mean, 2.5 street. So when people addressed and said this is actually more of a special assessment, does that mean it's not going to be on our taxes and a permanent raise due over years? It's just a one-time hit.
It's not one time because the fire department needs honestly redetermined, meaning the amount can change. And that's what the township board has to decide, is we keep it at 2 mills or does it need to change?
So this isn't actually addressing the budget numbers that just get presented to us with what they need on shortfall coming in the next years, the $5.5 million.
Well, if they don't have money, they're not gonna be able to pay
Right,
for
but this
anything.
isn't addressing
Yeah.
just that. This is just overall.
It's an overall, it's what that revenue amount is going to be in mills levied against the property, the taxable value in the property. Without money, you can have a budget all day long, but nothing to pay for it, so. And that, going back to one of the comments earlier on truth and taxation, the fact that budgets have been made before millage rates are established. That doesn't mean that the millage rates were already established, it just means the township is planning for how it's going to spend the money that it will anticipate levying. Does that help?
It does.
Okay. Yeah.
How often is the township supposed to do a hearing like this? Can they reconsider? Is there like a certain minimum amount of time before they can redo this to think about it again? Or do they have a certain legal requirement?
Annually, it should be redetermined annually.
And so are they bound to that? They can't do it sooner if they've done one annual.
No, annually is what the statute contemplates.
Is the way this is set up, like, is it something only the board can vote on, or can eventually it go to a citizen vote? Like,
So yours is set up for the board to vote on it. It says the township board will annually, periodically annually establish it.
and it's supposed to be based on the needs of the fire department.
Well, if you don't have enough money to fight the fires, it's not very helpful.
Yeah.
It doesn't say it in those words in the statute. It says you can raise money for fire service with a special assessment.
It could be switched to where it was voted on though.
It could be switched to where it's voted on. That's not how that's not how the Columbia Township has set theirs up, but
It could
yes,
be changed.
yes.
Is that Bev?
Do most townships have it set up as a special assessment or as something that they've initiated with the voters and then they however taxes get raised?
I don't know the stats on that. I have clients who do it both ways.
Okay.
I mean, the special assessment, you've got a little more predictability in what you're going to have. If you've got an extra voted fire millage, similar, you have extra voted millages now, if a renewal fails, you don't have any money, and then you may not have a fire department.
Yeah, I didn't understand this as a special assessment even when I was on the board.
Yeah.
I just have a comment, it's kind of the wrong time right now, or they should have found a way to do that little dam cheaper than I believe it was 250,000. Out of satellite outlet, so, it's a lot of tax at one time for people who were on fixed incomes to come up with it. I agree we need a lot more help with our fire, especially if we're having that battery storage. We gotta be able to deal with that. And
Yeah.
income for us is, I can have it in by now.
And
Taxes go up.
And I'll say, and realize I'm the attorney, I don't live here, I don't vote here, I don't make policy decisions, but just to kind of give the context, this isn't because the fire department came and said we need more money. This was again, just a periodic determination, and the 2 mills is where the funding has been at. So, it's not a new or different amount. What you pay might look different if your property value has gone up. If suppose your property value went down, it could go down, but mostly property does go up. Oh, I'll sit down.
You're dreaming.
No, I'm not dreaming of that.
Yeah.
Last one.
John Taylor Mackey, 190 East Main Street, Greenville. I know that a lot of people have talked about not raising it. I would obviously would prefer to not pay more taxes. That being said, I pay the village of Breedsville to be here in Columbia Township, and I pay Columbia Township to be your tax. Do I want my taxes to go up? Absolutely not. I don't have a fixed income. I am still young enough. I might be turning into the old guy on the department because the guard is slowly changing, but, I work 10, 12 hours a day and I come back to our area. If the increase in mills made my job easier or gave me something to save your life better or faster, I would pay it in a heartbeat. And I know that that's not something that most people can't do. The fixed income, I feel you 100% on that. It's one of those things where I moved here, I lived in my father's childhood home, bought that when I moved here. And, I appreciate and love the area and want to just make sure that you guys are served as best as you can. That doesn't mean I want your taxes raised, but if 2.017 gets you the medicine you need or the truck you need, I'll pay it. That's all I got.
Thank you. I'm gonna make some final, just observations. We've heard you loud and clear.
Wait, did everyone get to speak who wanted to speak?
Did everyone get to speak who wanted to?
Is this the part of the public hearing where if you have opposition at all, that you can say more than just?
This is if you oppose the
Yeah,
the
right.
fire department, millage rate.
I have a little bit. Sorry, dear. Okay. I'm glad that it doesn't sound like there's anger or anything. There's actually more agreement of how everybody's feeling. Staffing shortages are another issue besides the funding. Typically, our fire call responses come from both our township emergency services as well as mutual aid from neighboring departments, and medical call responses come from Life EMS, ambulance, our emergency services department, and Van Buren County Sheriff Department. Did he leave? I wanted to give him kudos. Similar to what JC mentioned, Sheriff Dan Abbott had a statement in a couple of the newspapers around here from CARES 2024 report. And he said that Van Buren County, for cardiac arrest patients, have a more than double survival rate than that of statewide and national reporting. Medical control acknowledged the entire chain of involvement, but a special note to dispatchers and responding law enforcement officers for making a significant impact on their survival rates. Like most rural departments, we are not a standalone agency, and we are grateful for the part played by our local first responders. It is understandable that FEMA takes a regional approach then when they're looking at grant approvals. I did want to also shout out to Kate and the fire department. What a great job they did with their presentation. And I hope that this is a usable item for FEMA grants. The only thing that I was sad to hear about, that in all the time that I've been part of the township, I never knew about this electrical problem from that, the engine. And I don't know if it was under warranty when it first happened. Clearly, this community cannot afford such losses, and we can't afford missed funding opportunities either. And there was a prior opportunity of 249,000 ARPA funds went toward internet service that could have, we found out soon after, could have gone to the fire department. I know a lot of people wanted internet. We think the county would have actually picked up the tab for that, but that's water under the bridge. But that's what I mean. We can't have opportunities lost. And what I'm hearing from the Eagle rep is that they have $129 million more slated toward these grants. And in that even more spending freedom than the original 30 million. I did send an email out to the board when I got it from Eagle. And just, everybody does get confused with the way taxes are calculated, I guess. And the Headley Amendment is supposed to offer some relief because our tax values tend to rise. So Headley tries to roll it back, but that actually doesn't apply to the fire because it is a SAD. So we don't get the rollback on the 2.0. So every year, this is our 16th year at the 2.0 mills for fire. We are effectively giving more each year because you don't get the rollback. So we're getting, it may not feel like it, but it is
Well,
going
the way
up.
you said it is misleading, so please don't say it that way. That's purposefully misleading. Then I'm not getting anything done. Don't say it that way. That's a lot.
I did not tell a lot. And maybe we can talk afterwards. As for surrounding departments, there is a department that has, I believe, full-time fire and ambulance. And the last I knew, they were only paying 1.7 mils. But the difference is they have a gigantic utility in their area.
Nuclear power.
And that's on a smaller scale, that's what we're getting at with the battery storage. Is that if you have somebody with large personal property tax values, that you're spreading the tax burden. So I'm not a big fan of the battery storage.
Karen,
but-
you're actually talking on how to solve the problem and not what your opposition is.
Right, I
Then
actually,
you already exceeded 3 minutes.
okay, yes, it is more problem solving.
Yeah.
You're right, yes, thank you.
I got just one comment to make is when you have a fund balance for your fire department, it is trending down a little. And the money in our funds that we have for going over the budget or to spend something that we need is trending down to the point that it's shows a serious sign of things coming back. We're all done with public comment. There will be another comment before. So that's the only thing I wanna say.
Everyone needs to get a chance to speak once at least.
Go ahead, you can speak if you want.
To say that Columbia Township does not have any marijuana dispensaries, that would probably help. No, with, you know, fire, just look at Bangor, look at, South Haven. Look at Graceville, yeah, look at Graceville, but just that is. I'm just saying, they don't have any marijuana dispensaries and
You're limited on what you can spend from the dispensary, right?
What's that?
But it's a public comment, so you just need to take the
Yeah.
comment.
I'm
and
just
the
thinking
minutes.
that we should
You get
have
things back.
more.
Oh, what was your name?
Gary, Gari, Trolla.
Got
That's all I wanted.
Okay,
Thank you.
Did you say the funds that the fire department are actually getting are going down?
fund balance.
It's a difference.
The budget is stayed the same, and because of inflation, we're dipping into our savings more. As far as fund balance, I think we guys.
I guess I don't understand that. Can you clarify that? Because I'm an accountant. Sure. So to me, the law, and this whole millage stuff is all new, because sure, we're in a different state, but you know. So real estate taxes are going up because the cost of living is going up and value of the homes are going up, which only has value if you actually sell. But, so our taxes are going up, so that 2 millage in my mind should go up as well. So I guess I don't understand why
does.
the budget.
It does.
It is, but it's not offsetting the cost of all the things we have to buy.
Okay.
So it's outpacing it, and so
Yeah.
while we're doing this, the spending is doing that.
Basically.
And we're changing now.
You guys are dependent on people that it's happening to as well.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
trickled down.
It is, it totally is.
Don't forget, there's been a slight decrease in number of primary residences in this township
Yeah.
too, so that affects, I believe, your taxable, or your taxes. And I want to make one comment on the Vespers, at the last board hearing, board meeting I was at, and Vespers was here, I believe they said on the record that project, if it goes ahead, is 4 to 5 years out. So let's be realistic about that, 4 to 5 years out. And as of July 4th, the White House did release a statement saying that if these battery storage systems contain any foreign parts in them, like as in Chinese components, the grant issue becomes much more complicated, if at all. So, I don't know the answer to the question of whether Vespers intends to use foreign parts on their battery energy storage system. But I definitely take the position that we don't know if this project is gonna go ahead. We just don't know. We're in a changing world a little bit.
It may not be built in 4 or 5 years, but we'll know if it's going to be built in 4 years, won't we?
We should know before.
We will know before 45 years.
Yeah.
Any other?
My coach is everybody should get comment, but we can, if nobody else has
Is
a
everyone finished with their
comment
comment?
to make directly.
Any other comments to be made? I'm gonna go on to D7. The township board is gonna discuss and deliberate on the comments received opposing and supporting the proposed emergency service rate for the special assessment meeting at our next meeting, which is gonna be the regular meeting of the township board. Does everybody need about 10 minutes to between the meetings? Pardon?
Yes, give us 5 at least.
Well, you want 10 or 5?
5.
We're just gonna take a 5-minute break after we adjourn this meeting. So I
Need a motion.
need a motion to close the public hearing and return to special meeting at 8:16.
I'll make the motion.
Mary made the motion. Second,
Second.
Dara made a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes carry. We're gonna adjourn the meeting at still 8:16. Close the special meeting. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I appreciate all the public comments. JC, nice
Don't-
job.
We got another meeting.
It's on the township board meeting where we'll make some decisions.
Had a comment. When you said about people talking